This is Geraldine Maricino. I am your moderator for today's Education and Practice Committee meeting. Dr. Mountain, you have the floor. You're free to start the meeting.
Thank you so much. I would like to call this meeting to order, and I would like to do a roll call of the board members to establish quorum. Mr. Hill?
Present.
Ms. Turner?
Here.
Ms. Yamaguchi, I believe that's a quorum, and those are all our members at this time. Is that correct?
That is correct, Madam Chair.
So we have a quorum. Thank you very much. And I'll turn it over to you, to the committee members, board, legal counsel, and board staff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Elaine Yamaguchi, Executive Officer, joining us today with the staff. Beth DeYoung, Marie Cordeiro, Judith Mcleod, Vicky Saavedra, Vicky Lyman, Doris Piers, Charlene De La Rosa, and we'll see if anybody else snuck in, Arlene Nunez. And it looks like that is it for the staff at this moment. I'm sure others will join us, some of the other NECs most likely. Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. I am very appreciative of everyone being here, and especially in light of all the things that are happening and the changes that we see coming as a result of the recent pandemic. I would like to move forward and go to the review and approval of the committee meeting minutes from April 19, 2021.
Actually, Madam Chair, if I could break in just 1 second, could you ask counsel to introduce themselves?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Counsel, would you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Greetings, board members. Kenneth Swenson, Attorney 3, Board General Counsel. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will move on to review and approval of committee meeting minutes, April 19, 2021.
Sorry, there's one more. There's one more.
Go ahead.
Sheila?
Sheila, you have control of the microphone. If you can speak now at any time.
Oh, great. I was waiting because I didn't have control. This is Sheila Tatayan, Regulations Counsel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and my apologies for missing you. I fixed my screen so I can see everybody who's here.
No worries.
Back to approval of committee meeting minutes from April 19, 2021. Mr. Swenson, do I need to call for a motion on that?
This is Cheryl Turner. I move that we approve the April 19, 2021 meeting minutes from the Education Committee meeting.
Thank you so much. Do we have a second?
And this is Abraham Hill. I'd like to second that motion.
Thank you so much.
And Madam Chair, sorry I lost communication for a while. That is the appropriate procedure. Thank you.
Thank you. I will do a roll call vote. Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Thank you. And I also vote yes. The meeting minutes from April 19, 2020 approved. Move on to discussion and possible action to make recommendations to the board on planning. Ms. Yamaguchi.
Madam Chair, you're cutting in and out too, but with regard to the strategic planning, we've talked about this several times, and I know that the board's strategic plan, just to recap ever so briefly, was to take effect from the 20th from 2020 through 2025. We had hoped to do a really systematic review of where we are with regard to all the strategic plan goals and the committee's specific goals Right now, with the work via Sunset and a few other projects, we're a little bit behind, and I do ask for your forgiveness and understanding on that. But at this point, what I would recommend doing, and I know the staff have put together some really good templates with, or putting in the goals. What I'm going to suggest we do is have those templates put together, distributed to the committee in advance for a much more lively discussion at our next meeting.
All right, does that mean you'd like to move on from this?
I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Any questions? All right, hearing no questions, let's move on to item number 6, discussion and possible action to make recommendations to the board on approving permanent policy changes in the teaching modalities of theory, online, and hybrid options. Ms. Yamaguchi.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. The committee will recall we've put some time and energy into discussing these issues and the options, both at this committee level and the board level, and through the special meeting we had, the information meeting. At this point in time, I want to defer over to SNEC Marie Cordeiro. Marie?
Thank you, Elaine. Good afternoon, committee members and whoever else is out there. As you know, the pandemic has impacted nursing education throughout California. Face-to-face teaching was converted to online learning, and clinical experiences became a challenge as students were unable to continue at their assigned clinical sites. And the Education Division and of course the NECs were tasked with reviewing all pandemic plans prior to implementation to ensure that the students were still be able to meet their objectives. And during that time, we were introduced to all types of teaching modalities. Some and many of which we anticipate will be here to stay, and that we anticipate will we be getting requests from programs to continue these modalities post-pandemic. Program directors are already asking questions of us, such as what permissible teaching modalities will be approved by the board post-pandemic. So in order to anticipate and be ready to respond to program requests, we, the NECs and the Education Division, we are seeking guidance, consideration, and approval from the board to ensure that we are ready to best handle these requests. And as you can see, please refer to my memo, which is included in your packet of material. And there are 4 items that we would like to have your, again, approval on, so that when we, post-pandemic, when we start getting these requests, we have at least a focal point, a starting point, and some direction that the NECs can follow. So you have the packet. It's a memo dated July 19th. It's from me, and it says action requested from board members post-pandemic. And it just says that nursing education consultants presented the fall. We did present these recommendations for post-COVID teaching modalities during the April Education Committee meeting, and also during the May board meeting, and public comment was also held. But now we're actually looking for a recommendation from the Education and Practice Committee to present these for approval by the full board at the August 2021 meeting. So there are 4 action items, or 4 items for discussion. I'm sure you can read them. I'm happy to read them if you'd like for the audience, but
Marie, we can actually see them, and it's really nice. I can actually scroll through them. I wonder if there's any questions by the board members? Any clarifications from the board members that you'd like to ask from Cordeiro right now? All right, do we need to have a motion to move this forward to the full board?
Madam Chair, this is Elaine. If I may make a suggestion, what we could do is separate this out, go one by one, because we do have a fair number of folks from programs in attendance, and I wonder if anybody else might have some comments on any one or more of the items. So I think strict parliamentary procedure says that you make a motion, put it on the floor, and then open it for comments. Mr. Swenson, did you want to check me on that?
Yes, that's the correct procedure, and the motion would be to approve the recommendations and to refer them to the full board for consideration and approval.
Okay, I'm going to try to repeat what Mr. Swenson just said. or else I can, move to, move to adopt the recommendations set forth in the July 19, 2021 memo and to refer them to the board. And this relates to making permanent policy changes in the teaching modalities of theory, online, and hybrid options. Mr. Swenson, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So the motion is for the recommendations to be approved, referred to the full board with the recommendation that it be adopted. And that's what the motion accomplishes.
Okay, so moved.
So this is Abraham Hill. I'd like to second that.
Thank you very much. And now, Mr. Swenson, we're able to call for questions from the audience. Is that correct?
Yes, unless the members of the committee have questions, then you can proceed to public comment.
Okay. Are there questions from the committee members or comments?
Okay, just generally, okay, so we're making changes because of the pandemic, and we're putting more of the learning activities online. But even, post-pandemic, if, we go back to lifting all of the pandemic issues, will we revert back to in person, or is this something that we plan to continue going forward, or we'll just look at it again in the future if needed?
This is Elaine Yamaguchi. Let me try and that's a great question, and I appreciate it. So to clarify, what we're asking the committee to discuss and approve here is basically these alternatives. So what we need to do here is authorize the board and the staff to be able to consider and approve proposals from the programs themselves if they want to avail themselves of any one or more of these options. So yes, it is actually in response to the pandemic principally, but the pandemic is actually just the kind of the capstone. We were moving towards a lot of changes in the way nursing education has been conducted. And so these are really, I think, kind of natural progressions, but they've been accelerated by the pandemic.
And this is Carol Mountain. I wanted to respond to Ms. Turner really quick in that we've always used a variety of modalities in teaching, but I think the pandemic moved online teaching to a different level. And I think people are absolutely using simulation, online theory content, and hybrid methodology in ways that we didn't have to do it. So we didn't do it until the pandemic, and now we're really doing it.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Any other comments or questions from the board?
This is Abraham Hill. I just wanted to comment that I really appreciate all the work that's been put in to moving forward and incorporating technology and still maintaining the best practices. There was a lot of work put into this, and it's very much appreciated.
Are we able to open it up for public comment at this time, please?
This is the moderator. I do see a hand raised. Would you like me to unmute Georgina Kay?
Thank you. That would be great.
Okay, Ms. Kay, you can speak now.
Okay, thank you for hearing what I have to say. I too, just like Mr. Hill, appreciate all of the work that you all put into these programs. We at ATA College are using a form of hybrid program for our medical assistants now. It works quite well. It's kind of like a class I took at USC in South Carolina called Flipping the Classroom, where you have the students do more work and are more accountable for their own actions online, even if it's live online. And then when they do come into the classroom, we have more time to spend one-on-one with skills and individual curriculum at the specific sites where they're doing their clinicals, in other words. So please do consider these modalities. I've looked into a lot of different book companies. We're planning on using the Lippincott Williams or Walters Kluwer. They have an excellent program for simulations, but I don't agree with simulations 100%. I think that it needs to be a blend of both, and there are reasons for both. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you for that. Are there any other comments?
I see no further hands raised at this time.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we move this forward to the full board. I'd like to take a roll call vote. Mr. Swenson, is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you so much. Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Ms. Turner? Uh-oh. Ms. Turner? Are you
Yes.
able to? Thank you. And I am a yes, so it's move forward unanimously. We are ready for another good discussion. Make recommendations. Yes, Ms. Yamaguchi.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. The committee and board have had some good conversations so far over the past, well, actually almost all this year on our program approval process concepts, processes, the new system, call it what you will. So where we've been since our last meeting is we took the draft program approval application document with the scoring rubric. And we had tinkered with it a bit after the last meeting to reflect some of the comments made by board members and by some folks in the audience. So we've made that available online, and we asked via our mailing list of current and proposed programs. We asked our friends at BPPE and the BRN and the Community College Chancellor's Office to forward this as well. We basically sent this a request out to please review this and please, provide us with any comments, suggestions, concerns that you see in this going forward. So far, we've received not very many, but some very, very good comments and feedback from folks in the field. We did technically close the the time for receiving those, but bluntly, if people miss the deadline and still want to comment, we'll probably be happy to accommodate that. So what we plan to do now is consolidate those comments and suggestions and to put together a little bit of a document that shows that, and also look at our document in response. And we hope we will be hosting a WebEx town hall on August 12th. So we can ask everybody who's interested in this conversation to attend. We'll present the ideas that were presented to us with some thoughts from us, and as well as just opening the floor. This is all in the eventual hope that we will be able to move this forward in our sunset legislation. At this point in time, there is not any real language in our sunset bill, which is AB 1536, but we have had a number of conversations with the staff and the members of the legislature, and this is a very large issue, a very significant point of concern for them. Our process is slow, and there's no other way of putting it. We need to make some changes. We need to make it clear and consistent and transparent and fair and efficient. So we're real hopeful right now that even without the possibility of actual legislation to move forward this year, there are a number of areas that we can proceed on based on our current codes and regs. So anyways, I strongly welcome and encourage everyone to attend that open house on the 12th. For the board members, of course, I'll be sending out the link to move in. We'll be sending that link out to our own mailing list, of course, all the program directors, all the folks from proposed programs, etc. We're very hopeful. But like I said, the comments we've gotten have been very, very positive. I think a lot of people have some fine point concerns of the ability for smaller programs to compete in fair contest with the larger ones. I think that's a very valid concern. People have had some comments on the regional issues. People have had some concerns about how we define student affordability. All of these things are really good points that we think we're going to have some very good conversations moving forward. Madam Chair?
This is the moderator, Madam Chair. We're having.
I said, are there any comments from the board? Hearing no comments, are there any comments from the public?
There are no hands raised at this time.
Thank you. believe that we are ready to move on to number updates from Supervising Nursing Education Consultant about the Education Division's quarterly activities.
Dr. Martin, Dr. Mountain, you're breaking in and out.
I'm so sorry. I show myself with all bars. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay, it's better now.
Thank you, Carol. This is Marie Cordeiro. So I'll have my full report at the board meeting, but there's 3 things I'd just like to share with the Education and Practice Committee I'd like to highlight. First and foremost is that we are retired annuitants. Ann Schumann and Sue Ellen Clayworth retired the end of June. It's their 2nd retirement from state service, and we will miss them. And as you know, they have done so much work for the board in their 30+ years that they have been employed by the BVNPT, and we will miss them. And I'd like to publicly thank them for all their years of service and the training and support they've always provided to not only the Education Division, but the BVNPT. The next item is that the NECs are out in full force conducting site visits. As you know, the pandemic has put, we were not able to go out and conduct site visits. By the end of the year, there will be over 50 site visits that will have been completed. We have it all mapped out. So the NECs are on the road, and so programs, if you're out there, you might be seeing an NEC or 2 at your door. Most of these are tied to the approval process, the program records survey. Fewer new schools, and a couple are based on some complaints we've received. So you will be seeing the NECs. It's been a long time, but they are out on the road. And the last thing I'd like to discuss is that our Fall Directors Forum is scheduled for October, and our format has changed a little bit. We always do an evaluation after each Directors Forum, and what we are doing this year is we are having several breakout sessions that the directors will be able to choose which session or sessions they would like to attend. And the breakout session topics were developed based on feedback from the previous Directors Forum as to the directors' interests. So I think it's going to be marvelous, and I'm very excited about this new forum. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie. And 2 really positive things. The NECs are back on the road. And I also have seen the Directors Forum, and it looks like it's going to be very, very nice. I'm excited about it too. All right. We will move on.
Turner. Hello, this is Ms. Turner. So I'd like to thank, and I'm sure on behalf of the board, we all would like to thank those that have provided service to the BVNPT who are now retiring. Yes, your work is very much appreciated.
Absolutely, 100%. Thank you for saying that. All right, we are ready to move on to possible action to make recommendations to the board. I have listed on number 8, placement on provisional approval.
This is the moderator. Your microphone's cutting in and out.
What? I have no idea why. Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Consider on provisional approval, Cypress College Psychiatric Technician Program, Dr. Mcleod.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Judith Mcleod. I am the Nursing Education Consultant for Cypress College Psychiatric Technician Program. A little background on Cypress. Back on the 14th of May of 2020,
the executive officer rescinded their ongoing admissions because at that point they had 4 consecutive quarters of low pass rates. So they admit 2 classes a year of 30 students, and they were put on the requirement of having to have each class approved. They are now 8 quarters with low pass rates below 10% from the state average. Their current pass rate is actually 15 points below the state average. They have 2 current classes going. They have 47 students in their program at the moment. And I have been working with them, and their previous nursing education consultant has worked with them to put a plan in place to improve their pass rates. So they have just gotten their plan in place in the last about 2 months. So we just got the pass rates today, and they actually have now their 9th quarter below the standard for pass rates. So I am recommending that they go on provisional status so that we can work even closer with them. And that's my recommendation.
Are there questions from the board members? Seeing no questions, is there a representative here from Cypress College?
I do not see the director in the public, Dr. Mcleod. Is there maybe a representative of the school or program?
The director told me he was going to attend.
Is there any public comment?
I see no hands raised at this time.
Dr. Mcleod, should we go ahead and vote, or do you think their director will be here?
I would assume he would be here by now. He knew the time of the meeting, and he said he was going to attend.
All right.
Madam Chair, if I may, I would suggest you go ahead and vote with the the assumption that the program director can address the board at another time.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Yamaguchi. I appreciate it. Do we have a motion?
This is Abraham Hill. I'd like to give this a try. I'd like to make the motion to approve the NEC's recommendations. And the recommendation would be to place Cypress College Psychiatric Technician Program on a provisional placement.
And Mr. Hill, this is Ken Swenson. Would that motion also include referring the matter to the full board for decision?
Yes, that would.
Thank you.
This is Cheryl Turner. I second it.
Thank you so much. I'd like to do, Mr. Swenson, do I have to open up for public comment again?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I would like to open it up for additional public comment if there is any.
I see no hands raised.
I would like to take a roll call vote. Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. So that's carried unanimously. Thank you so much. Healthcare Career College. Ms. De La Rosa.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. This is for consideration of placement and provisional approval for Healthcare Career College. The program had not been compliant with the NCLEX TN pass rate for the past 4 quarters, and also had been below the annual state average for the past 12 quarters. It is important to note that the program was also also on provisional approval from November 2000 provisional
I'm sorry to interrupt. This is the moderator. Ms. Della
from November
Rosa, your
2011
voice is cutting in and out.
November 2017.
Ms. Della Rosa, this is the co-moderator. We're having technical difficulties with your microphone. Can you please try turning it on and off and giving us another try, please? Ms. Della Rosa?
I apologize. I'm actually on the site visit right now. Yes.
Okay, you're cutting in and out. Can you try speaking directly into your microphone? Give it a try, please, because you are cutting in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on a site visit right now.
Ms. Della Rosa?
Now, so my can you hear me better?
It's a little bit better, not much. It might be your internet.
Hello? Oh, it's not that well. Yes.
Yeah, it's your internet connection. So can you give us one more try, please? There you go. There it is.
Yes, it might be.
Hi, Vicky. This is Beth DeYoung. If you need me to, I can possibly jump in for Charlene De La Rosa.
I was just about to suggest that very thing. Thank you.
Could you please? Thank you.
My report for Healthcare Career College. Do you have any questions for me?
Ms. Della Rosa, you are cutting out. So Ms. Young has been to assist.
Okay, so
I can barely hear you as well. Dayan, can you please
yes,
do the report?
I have it.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is Beth DeYoung. So I'm going to try to help out here as much as I can. I was able to understand the beginning with NEC Charlene De La Rosa for Healthcare Career College Vocational Nursing Program. This is program is being presented for being possibly placed on provisional approval. And she did mention about the pass rates for the last 4 quarters. And they have ranged between 47 and 59%, which is 20 to 29% percentage points below the average. And then during 6 out of the most recent 8 quarters, they've been non-compliant with pass rate regulations. And there's a little bit of background here, excuse me, that the program was originally placed on provisional approval in November of 2011 through November 2017, related to the non-compliance with pass rates. The program did start to bring up their pass rates. They were granted removal from provisional approval on continued approval. And also, then they started to, I think, decrease here after around 2018, they started to go back down in their pass rates. And you can see that on the pass rate table as well. So the program director did submit a comprehensive analysis report during May and identified some concerns which are listed there. And they have done some interventions to improve pass rates. However, we're not seeing too much of an increase in their pass rates, even through all of the interventions that are listed there. And there's also an attrition data table that's listed on the report. And for the last 3 cohorts, you'll notice the number of graduates, and these are on the last 3 columns. And this is on page 4 of the report, the attrition data table. They've had the number of graduates, for instance, the first one, they had 9 grads. 9 had dropped, and then 2 were non-completers out of the 20. And then the second class of 20, they had 5 graduates, 6 dropped, and then 9 non-completers. So there's a little bit more issues here as well, identified concerns that the NEC is working with the director of the program regarding. So the recommendations from the NEC is to place the program on the agenda for the August 2021 board meeting for consideration of placement on provisional. And one last thing I wanted to mention here is the current graduating class of March 21. I'm sorry, not March 21. I believe it's actually, they graduated in June of 2021. They had 14 students, number of graduates is 5, but they are still testing some of those students. So they may not have passed the first exit, and they're actually working on the second exit to pass that. So again, they are not actual complete numbers here, but it's due to the fact that they're still taking their exit exam. But I can try to help answer any questions. Hopefully that filled you in a little bit here on the program.
Sorry, is there anyone here from Healthcare Career College who would like to speak?
Dr. Mountain, we do not see the program director, Cordelia Stark, in the audience. Ms. DeYoung, or could there be someone else that is representing?
Yes, the program director just told me this morning that she resigned, and it's Amita Garg. If you can see Amita Garg in the audience, she will be attending.
Hello. Hello,
Okay.
does everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Yes, and thank you for the introduction, Ms. Beth. So I am the CEO of Healthcare Career College, and I've been with the school since 2011 when we first started working with the board. I do see that this as an opportunity for a fresh start. We've worked with our faculty and our director to revamp the admission standards, and we're really making some program changes to be able to start fresh with this new batch of students that will soon start. Also, I did want to say that I am working very closely to hire a DON who's very strong and will be able to lead the program in the right direction. So I will be in contact with Miss Charlene for that. Yeah, I just wanted to tell everybody that I see this as a opportunity for a fresh start and to really start the program off on the right path with the right director.
Thank you so much. Are there other questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, we can call for a motion.
This is Cheryl Turner. I move that we adopt the NEC's report and refer this matter to the entire board for its consideration.
This is Abraham Hill, and I'd like to second that.
Since there is a motion, are there other public comments?
I see no hands raised at this time.
Thank you. Since there are no hands raised and no public comment, I'd like to call for a board vote. Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. That is moved unanimously. I believe that we are ready to move on to public comment on items not on the agenda. Are there any public comments?
I see none at this time.
Thank you so much. Recommendations for committee meeting. Hearing none. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Dr. Mountain, there's a problem with your microphone, so if you would like to repeat agenda item number 11.
Yes, recommendations for agenda items for meetings. Is there someone that has public comment?
I see none at this time.
Thank you. Schedule for next education committee meeting. Ms. Cordeiro, do we have a date for that?
Hi, Carol. It's Marie. We don't have anything yet, but you know, we always have it around a month or so before the board meeting. The next board meeting, I believe, is November 20th. So we are happy to email the committee members and check on a date, unless the committee would maybe like to schedule something just for convenience at this meeting. But if not, Geraldine will reach out and will give you some dates if that's how you'd like to proceed.
I will leave it up to the committee members. Ms. Turner, Mr. Hill, do you have a preference?
No preference at this time.
Yeah, no preference. They can contact us when they have something to schedule, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no further for adjournment, and we will adjourn at 2:48 p.m. Thank you very much for everyone for attending.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for your participation. Have a nice day.